So we're hitting that time of the year where a bunch of these lower budget, under the radar type movies come out that are really good. I just saw one of them. It's called Shot Caller. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be trying to tell people about this movie to get them to go see it. So let's talk about it. So in Shot Caller, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, or Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, plays a family man that accidentally kills someone in a drunk driving accident and goes off to prison for 18 months. And during his time in prison, essentially conforms to the world of prison life to survive and to thrive. And this is the story of his transformation from family man to hardened criminal. The story's told essentially in two different timelines, one being starting with him being released from prison, and one showing the story of him going to prison and his transformation there. And the story kind of tells this intertwining character arc of how this would happen to someone and how the way the prison system is designed, it's not necessarily there to rehabilitate people and make them better than they were when they came out. And this movie is much better than I was expecting. Now, I went into this having not seen a trailer for it, not knowing anything about it. I saw the title of it, I saw the poster for it, and I looked at the cast before I watched it. And that's all I knew going into it, and then just watched and expected to be kind of direct-to-video quality, okay, throwaway crime thriller type movie. And that's not what it was. It's a legitimate, solid prison drama story about a fall of a man. It's quite compelling and interesting, and I hope you go check this one out. So let's talk about the good. Right off the bat, there's a great cast here led by Jaime Lannister. But it's not just him. You've got Jon Bernthal in there. You've got Jeffrey Donovan from a number of different TV shows. Just Benjamin Bratt's in there. A bunch of these kind of character actors just kind of fill out the cast throughout the whole thing. And so you like everyone. Everyone does a great job. Of course, our lead actor is the star, and he really is the star. Just giving a great performance, showing this character's transformation in a way that you believe it. Just even in the way he visually looks, he transforms from one person to another person. When they show the flashbacks of him 10 years in the past, you see just kind of this attractive, handsome man that looks totally normal and harmless, and then you see the transformed version of him. He looks grizzled. I mean, not just the tattoos and the facial hair that changes, but just his skin looks more rugged, and they actually age him. The way he looks, the way he walks, he's transformed into a different person that's been hardened by being around the hardest of people in society in a rough environment, and that makes him different. And the performance there is what makes it work. And then each of the characters surrounding him likewise bring the right depth to them, especially like Lake Bell, who plays his wife. Here being in a serious role where I've normally seen her in different types of stuff. Here she plays this wife that's confused as she watches her husband transform, and she doesn't know what's going on because he doesn't want to let her in on everything that he's having to do, why he's doing it, the reasons, and all the things that kind of tie into it. So all she's seeing is she sent her husband in, who was going into prison for an accident, for a small mistake that had horrible consequences. And she just sees him turn into this different person that's doing these horrible things that she doesn't understand. And you just see it on her face. And then likewise, his performance playing off of her as the guy that's the good guy's still in there. He's just done horrible things. And the good guy wants to entirely protect his wife and his son and his previous life from his new life. And so you just see the two sides to him. And it's all because the performances are so good here. And once again, Jon Bernthal is not an enormous part of the story, but he's an important part, and he just kind of shows up in just the right places. And once again, establishes himself as one of these great modern actors that you love it every time Jon Bernthal shows up. And even as he was going through the story, and it tries to tell this story that encompasses, about 10, 11 years worth of time. Each of the little segments that were good enough that you wanted more. You kind of saw it and you were like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, wow, how the prison world works and just the politics of the gang world as he joins a gang to try and get protection. All of it's fascinating, kind of draws you into the story of what's going on and kind of kept me captivated from beginning to end. Very much enjoyed what they did here. with that said, let's move on to the negatives. And the big negative here is, as I was watching it from beginning to end, I was kind of thinking, this probably would have been a lot better as a Breaking Bad-esque TV show. When I say Breaking Bad-esque, I don't just mean the idea of a good family man breaking bad and turning evil, which there's certainly that similarity. Beyond that, the similarities end. But more so in the nature of shorter seasons, limited number of seasons. So if this was like 4 8-episode seasons, something along those lines, telling this story, I think it would have been a great TV show, whereas this is a very good movie. And for that, the reason is just, as I mentioned before, at each little piece of this, I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more of him as the family man. And it's just the normal guy. We get a couple little vignettes of a couple of things he does, and then horrible things happen. He's on trial. And you could just see how, like, season 1, he doesn't even get to prison in season 1. Season 1 is just all of him as a family man and then him on trial, and you just learning little pieces, trying to put it all together. And then season 2 is him incorporating into prison life, joining the gang and stuff. Season 3 is where, well, obviously this progresses. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I could see where all of that would be a little bit better as a TV series. Even the main plot of where the storylines to it kind of tied together. And there's this whole plot line about a parole officer who's doing an investigation, and it's gun smuggling that leads to kind of the third act in this movie. And the way kind of the different characters, pieces tie together, leading to the finale. It felt kind of a little ho-hum. It was like the weakest aspect to this movie, because the characters and the arcs and the relationships were what most interesting. And so because it was a movie, because it had to fit into 2 hours, we had to have that third act that kind of tied everything up nice and neatly. But because we're telling so much story, it just kind of felt, ho-hum, not developed. Like we didn't care so much about this plot point in the third act as we did about these characters. And so that's the big complaint, that I think it could have, the way to make this thing better is to give me more of it as a TV show. But overall, just as this is the movie, I think this fall that I'm going to be telling people, have you checked out Shot Caller? You should check out Shot Caller. Great performances, cool drama, very much in the vein kind of last year of Bloodfather, movies like that kind of went under the radar. You didn't know anything about them. They came out, and the people that did see them were like, that's really good. You need to check that out. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on it. If I were to give a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. This is a very good movie, very enjoyable, not quite great, because I think it was a better idea to be a great TV show. And so it felt like we rushed through some of this stuff that I really wanted to spend more time with, and therefore it led to a third act that wasn't as big and as satisfying as what came before. But if I'm being honest, I really want you to go out and check this out. This is a movie that I want more stuff like this to happen, so you can vote with your dollars, go see it in the theaters, rent it wherever you can rent it, whenever it comes out. I think it's already been released. They did one of those VOD theatrical release type things. I think they did something like that. So check out this movie and tell me what you think about it. With that said, if you have seen it, what did you think? Tell me about it down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Did you kind of like it as much as I did? What about my theory about this being a better TV show than a movie? Is that just a crazy theory of mine? I think I got something there. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, ranking videos. Actually, every weekend I put one out. One coming out in a couple days. It's going to be about all the MCU Netflix shows. I hope you check that one out. But I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you. So join me in the comment section, and thank you for watching.